Welcome to Picture Healer channel. Today we want to talk about saltwater cure and as a cure for number 5 yellow and number 2 black star in the flying star Feng Shui. We will also talk about other remedy for the 5 yellow and 2 black stars. You probably know by now that number 5 yellow star and number 2 the 2 black star are not the auspicious star. They might bring you all kind of problems, obstacles, health problems, or financial problems. And one special Feng Shui cure is a salt water cure. So what's the function of the salt water cure? Basically, it absorbs negative energy in the space, and it's especially useful to counter the number 5 yellow star and number 2 black star according to your annual flying star chart. If one of your room is in an inauspicious area but you cannot relocate, you can place the salt water cure to absorb the negative energy and balance out the energy of the space. For example, if the bathroom is near the front entrance and you cannot relocate the bathroom, you can place the salt water cure. So how do we make a salt water cure? It's very simple. You just need some type of salt as natural as possible, and the unrefined one is better. You can use the sea salt, coarse raw salt, or those pink Himalayan salt. Any type of natural salt has the power to cleanse the space. And second, you need some type of container. Usually just a simple glass jar will work, or if you want, you can place on a shallow dish. The salt can have a bigger space to contact with the air and absorb the negative energy. And another optional object is some type of coins, usually 6 coins, and have the front side facing up because front is yang. We want to increase the positive energy in this cure. Everybody have different method and different variation of the salt water cure, and you don't really need to put coins. If you do want to place coins, you can use the ancient 6 emperors coins or modern coins you are using every day. The real everyday coin you use holds the power too, so it doesn't have to be the ancient or antique coins. And why do we need 6 coins? And why is number 6 important in this cure? Because in Ba Gua, the 3 unbroken line is the Qian Gua, and it represents the heaven and the most yang energy. And when you stack 2 of the symbols, it will become the number 1 in the I Ching's 64 hexagrams. And this is very powerful symbol for yang and heaven. Since it holds the most positive energy, so the number 6 is important in this cure and also in countering the number 5 and number 2 stars. Other things we need to know when you make your own salt water cure. First, we want to make sure the lid is open and not completely enclosed, so the salt can be in contact with the air. That's how the salt absorbs the energy in the air. And you can place net type of fabric, maybe a cheesecloth or aluminum foil with holes punched. Those are okay too, because the air can still go in and circulate into the salt. You can add regular water in the jar for around 3/4 full, so it's not too full or too low. And since it will evaporate, you can refill it as necessary, maybe every couple weeks or every couple days, depending on your space. And this is one of the cure that you cannot reuse. You have to discard it once it is outgrown its stage. After a while, the salt crystal will build up and you can tell it's time to replace. It can take several weeks or months depending on your space. And when it's time to replace, you can just put it in a plastic bag or some container so you can seal it and discard it in the garbage. Many other Feng Shui cures you can recharge and re-cleanse it, but this one is supposed to absorb all the negative qi, so we should just discard it and start fresh again. And since it will look ugly after a while, you might want to hide it behind some decorative items like plants or behind some cabinet or behind the door. And what's other Feng Shui cures for number 5, Wu Huang, and number 2, the Hei stars? And we talked about it last time briefly, and both number 2 and number 5 stars belong to the earth element. So the best way is to use metal element to reduce the earth. That can be color such as silver, white, gold, or any reflective surface, or using texture and metal materials such as metal furnitures and artworks. And another one is the sound of the metal that has an effect to counter the number 5 and number 2 stars too. So here are some common Feng Shui cures for the number 5 and number 2 stars. Some examples include the 6-rod metal wind chime, because the 6 unbroken line is the most yang in the I Ching. Sometimes they will say the 6 hollow rod, because the hollow is also related to yang. Or you can display metal singing bowls because it has the metal material, the color, the shiny reflective surface, and it also has the sound of the metal. And that is a good cure for the number 5 and number 2 stars. Another example is the metal clock with pendulum, because the pendulum has a movement of the metal and the clock has the metal element and the sound of the metal. So that's a good cure too. And another popular one is brass or bronze hulu. Hulu can absorb any sha qi too, and it's a symbol for good health. So hulu is a very popular protection, especially the metal hulu in this case. And another one is a 5-element pagoda. That's a pagoda made of 5 different shapes. Each shape is related to one of the elements, so it represents the balance of the 5 elements. And some of them has opening on the top or bottom, and you can place soils inside. It's a symbol of controlling the earth element. And the basic Feng Shui rules for number 5 and number 2 stars are to avoid construction. If you really need to do some construction or renovation, you should pick a lucky day and stay away from this area during construction. And avoid fire element in these 2 areas. That includes fireplace, candle, bright light, loud noise, or loud electronics, or color of red or purple. And we should also avoid earth element because we don't want to reinforce their element. So that includes not to display earthware, soil, or color of yellow and brown. And in 2020, the number 2 stars in the south and number 5 stars in the east. So those are areas we should be careful. The Sansa is also in the south, the same as number 2 black star. So when you place the Feng Shui cure, it should help with the 3 killings negative energy too. So next time you can try your own salt water cure. If there's a space, you want to reduce the negative energy and bring in more balance. Thank you for watching today and see you next week.